And what else is going to choose? Let's do like they do on Golf Channel. She's picking a number 2 brush. I thought she was going to go for a number 3. And Peter, what did you think? And she's applying the paint. Look at the technique. Look at the smoothness of the move. Wow. Isn't that what they do in the Golf Channel? I wasn't whispering enough, but the essence was there, right? A very common failure in our bathrooms is the failure of the connection between the toilet paper holder and the wall, as you can see here. So today we're going to show you an easy way to fix it and actually upgrade your bathroom without using any drywall repair, which is something I totally dislike. So Grandpa DIY tried to use the toilet paper holder as a support, as a grab bar. And of course the builder, like every builder, did not put it on a stud or anything, so that came off. So we have to change it, but we decided we're going to beautify it, right? We're going to make it a little more elegant for our bathroom. So we're going to show you how we'll both repair this and improve it. And here is the...
What came out of the wall?
Well,
it has an anchor. They did put an anchor in there, but the whole thing just came out.
well, but they cannot support the whole...
Right, but the anchor was intended to just support that from coming out, but it was not
Right.
intended to be used as a grab bar, and
Right.
so thus we have the giant hole in there.
Now you can repair this
Yeah.
and move it slightly so it will cover most of the damage. Like if you leave it up here, it will become invisible really, but it will not be strong again.
Right.
Cover this and find a stud.
Okay.
It's highly unlikely, but let's try it. So we start by taking a piece of scrap that fits our needs, and in this case it's this piece of scrap. And for our specific case, we're going to cut it in half, right?
Yep. So I've kind of marked where I think it should go, and it's a good size for what we need.
Okay. The size and shape here is not important. Just use whatever you like based on the scrap you have, or even if you have to buy some material, it will not be expensive at all. In our case we have the scrap and it looked good, the shape we have, it's kind of a parallelogram, not quite a square. Again, the size or shape is not important as long as it aesthetically fits well on the intended place you are going to put. This is a great upgrade for our space. Really, go down. We just turn it around a bit.
So normally we would just be able to lift this and let the blade finish cutting it, but this was not quite enough. So now you can see we're just turning it, lining it back up, finish.
Put it in before you start it, in this case only. Okay, not all the way, do not touch it, lift it 5 millimeter. Okay, but I don't want you touching the uncut plug, that's what I'm trying to explain. Okay, so now start.
Okay. And what's next?
Do you want to make 45?
No.
So since this one is going to be visible, even though we are going to paint it, we're doing a little bit of sanding.
Just to get the rough spots off.
Yep. And what we're doing is not necessary. You could just repair the damaged wall, right?
Right.
But we want to give it a little bit of an upgraded look.
And strength.
It's a nice improvement from just attaching it to our wall, right? But it is very plain.
Yep.
So what we can do is add a little bit of beveling, as you can see here, on all sides. And this is our scrap testing to find the correct angle, right?
Right.
And then that gives it a little more finish. And here in our test, we only did it on 2 sides. And on this side, we just did a straight bevel.
Yep.
But we like this look better.
Yeah.
Don't know how visible is it on the...
No, it is. You see? Good.
So if you want to make sure, if it is a square piece, it's easy, but this is not square. This is a parallelogram. Parallelogram. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to bring it, for the bevel we decided, we're going to align it there, we're going to lock it, and we're going to run it through the saw. Now we don't have to change anything to do the other side, right? What we're going to do is put it on our fence because this is the same dimension.
Right, we do both either side first.
Right.
And you don't want to move the fence because we didn't change the size of the board.
Correct.
And you want to make sure it's the correct orientation with the bevel down.
Yeah. Now, however, our dimension changes. As you can see, if we cut it here, it won't be good, right?
Right.
So now we're going to move it again. And again, what we decided is to have a point here. If you don't have a point, you can make a line to know where you align it, right? But
With a piece of tape, you can
Right.
put a line. Yep.
so we're going to make one cut. And now we have one side that is uncut, but we don't have to change anything, right? Again, bevel down because that's the same dimension. And as you can see in a line, we don't have to move anything, right?
Yep.
We're in the correct alignment. And go through again. And just like that, we transform a very plain piece of wood to a nice detail. And you see a very nice corner there? Brings the character of the wood. It gives it more of a three-dimensionality, right?
Yep.
So you can take a very simple piece of wood and make it nicer. So I don't think, I mean, you can sand it some more if you want, but I think it's fine any way you want it. So as you can see, we're using a hand sanding here, Mrs. DIY.
Yep.
You don't need to go crazy with it, right?
No, but I do want it to be smooth.
But you don't want it to round over those sharp edges.
No.
That's important. That doesn't look good if rounded.
Nope, and I need a finer grit right now just to get this a little smoother.
So the sandpaper changed to a nice purple one. Would be nice if the grids were color-based, wouldn't it?
I was gonna say, yeah, that would be really cool.
But they are not.
No, it's just whatever they decide to make them.
So do this to your satisfaction and then finish to your satisfaction. You can stain it, you can Suzuki bang it, which for a bathroom actually is a good idea, right?
If you like the finish when it matches,
Right.
just because it
That's
makes
what I
it
mean.
waterproof, yeah.
For us, it doesn't make sense to stain it or Suzuki bang it.
Right.
So we are going to paint it a nice white that matches most of the things in our bathroom. So our piece is finished, and while it is very simple and took us really very little time to make, right?
Right.
This is a piece that if I was to go to Michael and buy this piece of wood or Walmart, I would pay $5-10, right?
Yeah, between 5 and 10.
Because this is the difference. This is what adds value to something, right? Instead of having just a piece of wood on the wall, now you have a finished project.
Right, and they call it like a plaque or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's what gives it the value. But yeah, between $5 and $10 depending on where you're buying it.
And of course, you can achieve the same look with a router bit.
Of course.
But I find for something that dimension, I find the table so better because
Yeah, works just
with
right.
a router, it's hard to hold the piece and router it, and the supervisor approves. We have two supervisors today.
Yeah, the supervisors.
Uh-oh. Are we in trouble? Both supervisors are here.
They're watching us very closely.
Yep. Like that, we transform our table saw into a painting station, right? And just to show you, we are actually using the organization system we used before. We have put labels in everything, right? This is very creatively named paintbrushes. And that makes it so easy organization-wise, right? What we find is that we needed to have double the number.
Yeah.
This is really good, but you know. So this is DIY, is all gloved up. And our piece is ready. In cinematography, this is how you open a Kills can, right?
Right.
And why are we using Kills, Mrs. DIY?
Well, because we want it to be white, and this has, although it has some lovely grain in it, we really don't want that showing through. We
Okay.
want it to be a solid piece, as if,
And look at this very expensive stirring stick.
yeah. You use what you got.
And Kills is designed to cover up discoloration
Well, it might not cover all this, but it will mute it. This is kind of a heavy knot. And what else is going to choose? Let's do like they do on Golf Channel. She's picking a number 2 brush. I thought she was going to go for a number 3. Elpida, what did you think? And she's applying the paint. Look at the technique. Look at the smoothness of the move. Wow. Isn't that what they do in the Golf Channel? I wasn't whispering enough, but the essence was there, right? Like always, when you try to do something simple, it ends up being non-simple, right? Mm-hmm. We're not sure how exactly they attach this, but we cannot remove it. And we do need to remove it, right? So we've used power drills, we've used everything. The screw rotates, but it doesn't operate within this device, so we cannot remove that screw, which is annoying. So we are going to cut it. So let's do that. And that's how you take a screw out when it doesn't want to come out another way, right?
It's unwelding.
It is unwelding, de-welding. And we might want to use that little, what you call it?
Washer?
Yes, for our new screw.
Okay.
All right, excellent. So this was made so it will not come out. Again, here where we cut it, and now holding it stationary, you can see the screw in there moving, but as you can see, it does not come out, right? Amazing. We love making things that are hard to service anymore, right?
Yeah.
So we're not just goobers. We had to cut it. We really tried hard to remove it, and we could not remove it. So
But we're sometimes goobers.
sometimes we are.
But
goobers.
not for this.
In this specific instance, we were not goobers.
Okay, so this is the plaque. It hasn't been finished painting, but what we are going to do is make some holes with a little bit of a countersink so that the screws that we're going to use, which are these, are going to sit in. And what we did was a couple of practices here. We're going to use this smaller, just enough to make the screw head flush. And now we're marking where we want them to be. And then we will take that countersink bit and make the holes. And this is what that countersink bit looks like if you've not seen one before. The drill bit comes through, and then you do have to apply some pressure to make this go in, but again, you can go pretty deep or you can keep it pretty shallow, and the shallow is what we're going to do.
Okay.
And now we've got all 4 of these holes marked. Gonna go ahead.
If you have your finger there, I cannot see.
I'm just trying to help.
I have to investigate and see if that wobble is caused by the drill bit or by my chuck. Something that before I use it again, I have to fix.
Again, we did this pretty shallow, just enough to make this screw head go in here. And we'll do all 4 of this. So now we've got the white paint ready to go. Ooh, we dribbled on the side now.
Well,
Trying to be very neat because obviously the more paint you get in your rim, the harder it is to keep things neat and tidy, and also to get your paint can open again later. I don't know what you did with it either, so that doesn't help us right now.
Somebody's a pourer, a 3D pourer.
Yes. Anyway, so now we're gonna use this white paint to paint the piece.
And then we're going to wait for paint to dry.
Our favorite.
Yeah.
And you can see we've got this stacked up. We put some extra blocks of wood under there because of the length of that drill bit. We didn't want to damage anything below. And this is going to come up looking nice, I think, don't you?
I think so.
And it'll really give it a finished look and give it that extra support that we need on that wall.
So with our paint dry, we are ready to start attaching the hardware.
And to make this a little bit easier, because this is the part that goes to the actual toilet tissue holder, we're going to put this on to the backer board before we install it to the wall.
Yep.
Trying to get it as centered as possible. And because we're putting this on a piece of wood, we are using a shorter screw just to hold it in place.
Hold on a second, though. Does it have an up and down? I think it does.
Okay, so what we did was get it oriented, because when you look at this device, there's actually a little place where you push like a flat head that releases this, and so we want to make sure that that is facing down. And now we've got it where we want it to go, so it's just attaching it to the backer board. Our little plaque.
You want to change it, or it's already done?
It's not all the way down.
Yeah, it hasn't moved, right?
I'm
Okay.
trying to see.
Okay.
Now it's solid there. But we don't want to attach that until after we put it on the wall, right?
Attach it here.
Okay. All right, and that just snaps in, and now it's solid.
Okay.
And now,
4 screws.
now for the wall.
So here we are in our bathroom, and so we're positioning to where we think we want it. We're looking at it to make sure it is indeed where we want it.
Do you want it up, down?
A little bit up. Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah. While waiting for the paint to dry, we also installed the grab bar for Grandpa. So if you want to watch that, watch our weekend episode. If for some reason these come off, we can always put anchors behind them, right? Because the plate will hide any damage to the wall. Very good. And this is our completed project. Well, I guess now it's completed. Well, friends, we are finished with we try to give you tips and tricks along the way, so you know how to do things like that yourselves, right? We're very pleased with our toilet paper holder. It looks nice. It matches the decor. Again, when you do things like that, putting stain will be not a good solution here, right? But
Right.
it matches our window, it matches our furniture there,
Matches the baseboard, all
Right.
white. Yeah.
and the screws match the bar. And this, of course, just looks better because it was on the floor for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Same on us for not taking care of it, right?
Okay.